I want to bring in Karl Rove. And Karl, good morning to you. We were reading your piece. It dropped last night in the Wall Street Journal. Here's the headline: Trump versus the Banana Republic of Colorado. The effort to remove him from the ballot is legally baseless and helps his campaign. But you just heard Griff's report there. There are 31 outstanding cases right now trying to do this. What comes of that, Karl?
Well, it's a little bit. Griff is first of all, I wish I'd written the headline. There's a brilliant group that writes the headline, so I can't claim any credit for the headline. But what's interesting to me is that there are 15 states where these actions are underway. But for example, in 12 states, according to Lawfare website, the plaintiffs have withdrawn the suit, because recognizing how weak it is. But yeah, this is a big benefit to the former president. It makes him the center of attention, makes him a victim, makes him look like he's on the receiving end of unfair partisanship, and you know, it is unfair. I mean, this is hearkening back to a Reconstruction era section of the Constitution, of the 14th Amendment, that doesn't ever mention the word president and requires somebody to have been involved in insurrection or rebellion against the government. And like you said earlier, there's been no such trial that has found the president guilty of insurrection or rebellion. And this incidentally has been used twice in the history of our country. One time for a guy who had been found guilty under the Espionage Act and was running for a federal office. And this is during the early part of the 20th century, and you know, this is clearly politics, and it's the hard left of America deciding that make hay while they can, and it's helping President Trump, which is one of the great ironies.
Even Karl Rove, the rabid never-Trumper Karl Rove, the man most responsible, along with old Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy, the man most responsible for trying to destroy MAGA forces within the Republican Party, is indeed admitting that the Trump ballot ruling is absolutely backfiring on the Democrats. We're going to see how more and more members of the establishment, people you would never have imagined, are turning their backs on the pathetic, sniveling, conniving, anti-democratic Democrat Party and its blatant banana republic antics, signaling that perhaps we are about to see our own Berlin Wall come crashing down. You're going to absolutely love this. Greetings, everyone. It is Live Stream Friday. I am your host, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. If you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are live on both YouTube and Rumble, but unfortunately, as you will quickly find out, those of you on YouTube, our super chats, by which you normally send me your questions, have been disabled. And that is because, as many of you know by now, we have been completely and totally demonetized by YouTube. But ironically, because of your amazing support from me and this channel over the last couple of weeks, that demonetization has only served to put me in the Christmas spirit. So today we are having a very special Christmas finale live stream. It's happening as part of this Live Stream Friday. I'm going to give you what's become a bit of a Christmas tradition here on this channel. I'm going to reveal to you the amazing hidden gems, the rich Christian themes that are sown all throughout Charles Dickens' timeless classic, A Christmas Carol. So I'm not reading A Christmas Carol for you, okay? This is not a reading. What instead I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to read it, or how to watch, if you prefer, A Christmas Carol, and recognize and discover all of the amazing, and I mean absolutely mind-blowing Christmas themes all throughout this amazing story. It promises to enrich your Christmas like never before. We do it every year in our Insiders Club, and I get the request every year to do it again and again. You're going to absolutely love this, but it is exclusively only for our Insiders members. So all you got to do is just click on that link below. Join our network of thousands of patriots all over the world who are together building a parallel civilization of faith, family, and freedom. And you have a front row seat to this Christmas Carol special. What's so beautiful here, gang, as I was reflecting on this, is I know that it's often during the Christmas season that a lot of us feel lonely. Loneliness is actually an epidemic often in the holiday season. And the fact that big tech has demonetized us precisely during this season, it reminds me precisely of how demonetizing us, big tech is trying to make us feel like we're all alone. They're trying to sever our relationship for one another. They're trying to literally heighten the feelings of loneliness. But the most beautiful part about joining our Insiders Club, clicking on that link, joining our Insiders Club, is you will never, ever feel as if you're alone. Those days are gone. Every week we get together live online, like we will right after this YouTube live stream. We get together in our virtual studio and we encourage one another. We network with one another. I answer all your questions. And there is this absolutely amazing sense we are not alone. We are in this together. And together, we are unstoppable. We are courageous patriots dedicating to building and defending a world of faith, family, and freedom. Gang, we are approaching, I kid you not, just over the last few weeks, we're approaching 5,000 members in our Insiders Club. So this is an amazing fellowship that you do not want to miss out on. So don't wait. Click on that link below, sign up for our Insiders Club, and prepare to get your mind absolutely blown in our special Christmas live finale at the end of this broadcast. You're going to love it, and you're going to love getting to know your fellow patriots all over the world. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. A growing consensus is building that this pathetic, ridiculous, anti-democratic attempt by the Democrats to kick President Trump off the presidential ballot will not only not succeed, it's going to backfire. And it's going to backfire big. Actually, it's already backfiring big time. No, it's not going to succeed in Colorado. It's not going to succeed in Nevada. It's not going to succeed in California. It's not going to succeed in Maine. It's not going to succeed anywhere in the whole of the nation. Quite the opposite. It is only going to more guarantee Trump's 2024 victory. Breitbart is reporting that Republican state lawmakers in 3 states right now as we speak are drafting legislation to remove Sleepy Joe from their respective state ballots. This is part of the blowback, gang. Republicans in the states of Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania are drafting legislation that would remove Biden not only from the presidential ballot in November, but even from the Democrat primary ballots in their states. So he wouldn't even win the primary in those states. Now, this is exactly what we predicted would happen. This would be part of the fallout of this clown show in Colorado. My namesake, Jonathan Turley, law professor at George Washington University, he noted immediately, right after the this insane ruling was given, he noted that the legal reasoning or lack thereof given by these 4 Democrat so-called justices could just as easily and arbitrarily be applied to Joe Biden. If you're going to disqualify someone from the ballot based on finding them guilty of a crime they didn't commit, based on finding them guilty of a crime they haven't even been charged with, let alone convicted of, then any candidate could be barred from any ballot for any reason. You just need a bunch of sniveling judges to unilaterally declare them guilty of a crime they haven't even been charged with, and then use that as a pretense to disqualify them from the ballot. So that is exactly what these Republican lawmakers are doing. Here's a statement that they gave to Breitbart. Quote, "We are joining forces to introduce legislation to remove Joe Biden from the ballot in Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. The absurdity of radical Democrat judges removing Donald Trump from the ballot in Colorado will be a stain on the American political system for decades. By their very own interpretation of the law, Joe Biden is 100% not eligible to run for political office. Democrats' insane justification to remove Trump can just as easily be applied to Joe Biden for his insurrection at the southern border and his alleged corrupt family business dealings with China. I don't even know why they have to say alleged there. I mean, didn't Biden say it's self-evident Trump was an insurrection? It's self-evident. That's their standard today. It's self-evident. Yeah. Which self are we talking about, right? So if self-evidence is all that's needed to convict someone, then obviously it's self-evident that Biden was involved in corrupt family business dealings with China. Obviously. So let's impeach him. But it's not just Republicans who are coming out steadfastly against this pathetic and ridiculous stunt from the anti-democratic Democrats. Even fellow Democrats are joining the growing chorus of outrage. Dean Phillips, the Minnesota representative who's challenging Biden for the Democrat nomination, he is but the latest Democrat to distance himself from this Colorado circus. Phillips, as a Democrat, noted, even voted to impeach Biden. I'm sorry, Trump. Wishful thinking on my part, right? He even voted to impeach Trump twice. But even he thinks this ruling is outrageous. Again, this is how insane this ruling is. Even members of Congress who voted to impeach Trump twice think this is utterly absurd and insane. You got to just let that hit you. Never Trumpers like Rove, right? Trump's fellow candidates, like even Nikki Haley's come out denouncing it. DeSantis slowly but surely came out to denounce it. Chris Krispy Kreme Christie has denounced it. Of course, Vivek was very courageous, saying, I'm taking my name off the Colorado primary ballot if Trump is not on there. Democrat presidential candidates who voted to impeach Trump twice. They're all coming out and openly denouncing this decision from the Colorado Supreme Court as an obviously illegitimate act of partisan politics betraying a banana republic. It is the blatant weaponization of our court system, and even never Trumpers and Democrats are calling it out as such. Here is swamp rat par excellence, Bill Barr on CNN.
Problem here is the denial of due process. To deprive somebody of the right to hold public office requires due process. It requires an adjudication of two core issues. One, was there an insurrection? Did the public disturbance rise to the level of an insurrection? And second, what was the role of the individual in there? Was it engagement? Did they do something to break their oath of office? Those are complicated facts, and this was denied due process. It was a 5-day hearing. There was no jury. It was before the judge. They were not able to subpoena witnesses and compel the attendance of witnesses. They relied on the hearings, the January 6th committee hearings, which is mostly hearsay. There was no right to cross-examine during those hearings and so forth. So as the dissent said, and by the way, the three Democratic justices who dissented, their opinions, I think, are masterful. And as they pointed out, they said, the process here was a procedural Frankenstein.
A procedural Frankenstein. Where does he come up with a phrase like that? That was beautiful. So I guess a broken clock could be right twice a day. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, did you notice him throwing the J6 committee under the bus? What the hell was that? I thought Liz Cheney was the single greatest defender of democracy we have ever seen since George Washington. Well, he just called the J6 hearings hearsay. There was no cross-examination. It was all here. It was blatant propaganda. And yet CNN, the very network that he's on, 24/7 pushed it as the greatest defense in the history of our republic for our way of life. A procedural Frankenstein. That's how the dissenting judges on the Colorado Supreme Court, who are also Democrats, keep in mind, that's how they characterize the proceedings. In fact, one of those judges, Justice Carlos Zamor, said this, quote, "The decision to bar former President Donald J. Trump, by all accounts, the current leading," I love this, "the current leading Republican presidential candidate and reportedly the current leading overall presidential candidate." In other words, he's beating Biden. From Colorado's presidential primary ballot flies in the face of the due process doctrine. There was no fair trial. I have been involved in the justice system for 33 years now, and what took place here doesn't resemble anything I've ever seen in a courtroom. I mean, gang, that was from one of the judges on the Colorado Supreme Court, one of the dissenting judges, a Democrat to boot, and he is calling out how he's saying that these judges were not simply wrong. Their ruling wasn't simply wrong. Their ruling was perverse. Their ruling was perverse. It was a travesty of justice because it was the blatant politicalization of our justice system. And you will not believe the group of Democrats that are now, as of today, openly panicking over the backlash they're seeing over this decision. You're going to absolutely love this, gang. But first, if you are just tuning in and joining us, we're having a very special Christmas finale live stream. It's happening as part of this live stream Friday. I'm going to give you what's become a bit of a Christmas tradition on this channel. I'm going to reveal to you the amazing hidden gems, the rich Christian themes that are sown all throughout Charles Dickens' timeless classic, A Christmas Carol. It's one of my favorite stories ever. It's one of the most beautiful stories, one of the most amazing characters. Now, I'm not going to be reading A Christmas Carol, right? Keep in mind, I'm just going to show you how to read it or even watch it if you just prefer watching the movies. I'm going to show you how to read or watch A Christmas Carol and recognize and pick out all the amazing, and I mean absolutely mind-blowing Christian themes all throughout this amazing story. It promises to enrich your Christmas like never before. You're going to absolutely love it, but it is exclusively only for our Insiders members. So all you have to do is just click on that link below and join our network of thousands of patriots all over the world who are together building a parallel civilization of faith, family, and freedom. You have a front row seat to this wonderful Christmas Carol special. Just minutes from now. I'll also be answering your questions. So if you have any questions, we know because we've been demonetized, our super chats are down. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them right there in our virtual studio, and I will answer them there. This way we get to bypass big tech censors and celebrate the fact that they can never, ever, ever get in the way of our relationship together. Again, gang, the big tech overlords want us to feel like we are all alone. But our Courageous Patriot Insiders Club bypasses all of those censorship efforts and allows us to weekly encourage one another. We network with one another. I answer all your questions, and there's an absolutely amazing sense of fellowship of the fact that we are not alone, gang. We are approaching, this is so exciting, we are approaching 5,000 members. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Sign up right now for Insiders Club and prepare to get your mind absolutely blown just minutes from now in our special Christmas live finale at the end of this broadcast. And I answer all your questions there as well. You're going to absolutely love it. All right. So now, as we speak, there is a growing anxiety on the far left that the Colorado Supreme Court did indeed step in it. Case in point, if you can believe it, the ultra leftists at the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. The ultra leftists at the Washington Post, the editorial board, which normally shills for anything and everything woke, has actually publicly come out. I kid you not. They have publicly come out against the Colorado ruling. They're doing what MSNBC doesn't have the fortitude to do. They are recognizing the travesty, the utter and complete travesty of this decision. The Washington Post. Truth is often stranger than fiction. The editorial board of the Washington Post has just openly admitted that the Colorado Supreme Court's decision is predicated on two flawed, unfounded points. And you know them. Nobody, I mean, as if we needed the editorial board of the Washington Post to tell us this. We all know this, but it's very simple. You could use this for if you have to chat with your woke friends and family during the Christmas season. But there are two flawed premises upon which this decision is based. One, Trump actually participated in an insurrection. That, of course, is bunk. We know that from an FBI investigation. You can look it up, Google it all you want. An FBI investigation that concluded that there was no insurrection. This was not an armed attempt at overthrowing the government. Okay? That, according to an investigation by the FBI, no friend in the MAGA movement. So the first premise is that Trump participated in an insurrection, resurrection. We'll be talking about that in a couple of minutes. Insurrection, and two, that the 14th Amendment bars an insurrectionist from the 14th Amendment barring an insurrectionist from office applies to the office of the presidency. In other words, the assumption there is that the 14th Amendment bypasses, it circumvents the carefully articulated constitutional impeachment process whereby a person is barred from presidential office. The double premise, the twofold premise of this Colorado Supreme Court's decision, even the Washington Post admits, is total and complete bunk. It's bunk for everyone to see. And it thus renders the decision not merely invalid, it renders the decision patently and politically absurd. Again, gang, this isn't Steve Bannon saying this, right? This isn't Jack Posobiec saying this. This isn't Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this. Is the freaking editorial board of the Washington Post. But they're admitting something even more than just how pernicious and vile this so-called judicial decision is. They're admitting more. Let's be blunt. They're admitting that Biden can't win. The tacit admission in all of this, whether you're a part of the ever-shrinking freak show like MSNBC that supports this Colorado and champions this Colorado ruling, or whether you're a part of the growing consensus calling out its absurdity, there is the tacit admission that Biden simply cannot win. We talked about this yesterday. Even the far left site, Slate.com, is openly admitting that Biden's campaign is over. I mean, look at this headline. I mean, there's... I mean, look at that's a left-wing site, people. That's a far left site. There is no precedent for how bad Biden's poll numbers are right now. And the byline reads, it's even worse than it looks. There is no precedent. There is no historical precedent for how bad things are for Biden. And it's even worse than that. And they make, again, a twofold argument here. Again, you could share this with friends and family who are still a little stuck in their woke ways over the Christmas holidays. Always be whimsical, always smile. We're winning. So just sit back, enjoy. If they get a little frenzied, cut him another piece of, trifle. I like trifle. I'm British. Pumpkin pie, whatever it is that you have, serve it. They make a twofold argument here. First, they point out that the RCP average, right? We talked about this yesterday, the Real Clear Politics polling average, which aggregates all the various polls out there, is currently showing President Trump with the largest lead he has ever had in his entire political career, and it keeps growing. The RCP average has Trump leading Biden by nearly 4 points. When you put in Bobby Kennedy and the other candidates, his jump leads to over 5 points, nearly 6. So what the liberals over at slate.com recognize is that we have never seen this before. Trump has never, ever led the RCP average, either nationally or in swing states, either against Biden or against Hillary, ever. But then it gets worse. Again, this is all according to the far left side. Biden's poll numbers, they found, are perhaps the single worst of any incumbent since the polling era began in the 1930s. And that's because Biden's net negatives are unlike anything we have ever seen. So a net negative is the percentage of voters who disapprove of you more than approve, right? So if 55% disapprove, 45% approve, that's a minus 10, right? A net 10 negative, a net negative 10. Biden's net negatives are twice that of President Trump. Biden's net negatives are twice that of President Trump. They're in the double digits. In fact, Biden has, according to this article, the worst net negative of any presidential incumbent since polling began nearly 100 years ago. This is why the Colorado court did what they did. This is why Jack Smith is indicting it. Biden can't win, so he has to cheat. Biden can't win, so he has to cheat. He's admitting it. You know they basically shut down their campaign headquarters in Georgia. I mean, they still officially have a headquarters, but it's basically an empty tent at this point. They have no campaign infrastructure in the state of Georgia. They've given up. Democrat insiders have all said that. They've given up on Georgia. They know they're not going to win. They'll probably lose Georgia by double digits at this point. Biden can't win. He can't win. He's not going to win Arizona. He's losing Arizona. He's not going to win Wisconsin. He's not going to win Michigan. He's not going to win Nevada at this point. Biden can't win. It's over. The lead that Trump has right now, if this sustains, and I would argue because of the economy, Biden's numbers are only going to continue to go down. That's what happens to presidents during either an actual recession or a perceived recession. We've seen it in every single presidential election where a president has experienced, again, either an actual or perceived recession in the last 2 years of their presidency. They don't get reelected. Their poll numbers just go into free fall. And so what we're seeing is that Trump's numbers have exceeded the margins of fraud. There's nothing they can do. That is what they are all admitting. Biden can't win. So they have to cheat. Note 2, it's also revealing they don't think they can pull off another 2020. It could be, I don't know why. It could be because many states have cleaned up their voting laws, their mail-in ballot laws, like Arizona and Georgia. Wisconsin has banned ballot harvesting. That's how Biden won, right? The Wisconsin Supreme Court, 2 years after the fact, tossed 200,000 votes as illegitimate because they found that ballot harvesting violated their state constitution. Oh, sorry. It could be because Trump's lead is just way beyond the margin of fraud. It's probably both. Regardless, the anti-democracy Democrats, the autocrats, clearly believe they have to default to a patently corrupt, weaponized legalism to stop what is appearing to be inevitable. When all is said and done, Trump is poised to clinch the Republican nomination with a dominance that we've frankly never seen from any other candidate in history. He's going to win Iowa in a blowout. He's going to win New Hampshire in a blowout. He's poised to win every single primary state in an absolute blowout. It won't even remotely be close. And then he will turn to November in the head-to-head with Biden. And as these desperate attempts by the anti-democracy Democrats prove, no one believes Biden even has a chance of winning at this point. Make no mistake, if they thought they could voter fraud their way out of this, gang, and I'm going to say this to you, to those of you who are just like, but the fraud. If they thought they could voter fraud their way out of this, they wouldn't be reduced to embarrassing themselves in front of the world right now with these ridiculous, legally illiterate acts of desperation. They wouldn't be soiling their own reputations by stooping to this absurdity. If they believed this election was stealable in that fraudulent way, they'd just be sitting around laughing and mocking and ridiculing and impugning Trump like they always do, as the clown they've always treated him to be. The reason why they're doing all of this, the reason why they are stooping to objectively absurd levels is because they got nothing else. Again, we've got to reiterate it here. No one outside of the most brainwashed, venomous, woke leftists like Rachel Maddow, no one believes in the judicial integrity of this Colorado decision. No, not Karl Rove, not the swamp creature John Bolton, not Dean Phillips, who's challenging Biden for the Democrat nomination, not Bill Barr, the former attorney general, as corrupt a swamp creature as you can get. Not one of them, no one, is standing by this blatant banana republic antic coming out of the Colorado Supreme Court. Which means something. It means that we really may be seeing the beginning of the end of the establishment's antics. When even members of the establishment don't want to believe in this anymore. When even members of the Politburo no longer stand by the communist propaganda. When the defenders of the order end up questioning that order, the Berlin Wall crumbles. We may be standing at the precipice of our own Berlin Wall imploding. Members of the deep state, the managerial class, the ruling elite, the establishment, it looks like even many of them are becoming disillusioned with this pathetic shit show. Which means that its end may finally be at hand. That's it, gang. Let me invite Hannah Brusvin in here. Hannah's our producer, and she can give us some instructions for our Christmas finale live stream. Hannah, how you doing? Love the Christmas tree.
Oh, I had to come over here. It's a special, special weekend. But Steve, I just want to follow up on something you're saying real quick, just about how desperate the left is becoming, because I'm beginning to feel similarly to how I felt during COVID. And I don't like that. I don't like that they're feeling so desperate that they want to, at the time, they wanted to separate us physically. They didn't want to have any kind of communication between us because they could see that we were rising up.
Right.
And now, as I sit here and think about what you're saying, the only real terrain that they have is the digital space.
That's right.
They only have big tech. They are trying everything to stop us. They're stopping the ballots from including Trump. They're stopping us. They can't really stop us from physically gathering anymore. The vaccines have failed.
Right.
What they do have is this platform where we're talking right now. And so they're getting desperate. That's why they demonetized us. That's why they stopped us. That's why we, Steve, you and I, every single week, we talk with our community here outside of this platform, because who knows what could happen.
Right. Exactly.
They're trying desperately to stop us. And so I guess that's a great transition to say why we're so proud of our community here, that we are not going to be put in digital isolation, which is their last attempt to try to stop us. And for those of you that are in the community, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for standing up to this this seemingly fruitless attempt, although they've demonetized us. So I guess, you never know what could happen. But we can't let big tech win. We can't let them isolate us again. They tried physically the first time. Now they're trying digitally. So thank you to those of you who are a part of our community and will never be separated from us. But if you want to join us, definitely we'll put the link back up on the screen, or click the link in the description here when we go in just a second. Join.turleytalks.com. This is where we will not be separated. This is where we can fight back. It's their last ditch attempt to try to stop our voices. It's not going to happen. They're going to try. They could try to take us down, but they're not, because we have this platform. So go ahead and click there. I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, Steve, but on the front page at join.turleytalks.com, it's literally just a name insert and a email insert. Please, if you don't want to watch the Christmas thing, if you don't want to join us for weekly live streams and updated stuff, that's fine. But just go in and put your name and your email. If something happens, if big tech, if the government tries a last ditch attempt to try to silence us in 2024, which is highly, highly likely, please go in and just put your name and your email in. That means we will always be connected. We can always contact you via email to tell you where to go and what's up. So please don't go do that. Steve, my favorite movie around Christmas time is It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
And oh gosh, I watch it every single Christmas Eve. And I was just thinking about it because people are posting clips, and there's that powerful moment, of course, at the end where he's running through town and no one recognizes him. He doesn't know where he is. And I don't know why, but it just kind of struck me that that's kind of the reality that the Democrats want for us. They don't want us to be able to connect with who we are. Right. So they're trying to separate us. They're the Mr. Potters of the world. Don't let that happen. Come join us here in join.turleytalks.com. It's an amazing community. And I'm excited for your Christmas thing, Steve. We've had people.
I am too. I was just looking at my notes last night going, dang, I love this stuff. I do. I mean, it got me so much in the Christmas spirit as I was doing it in the light of our Christmas tree. And it's just beautiful. And no, I couldn't agree. I mean, we had our live stream Monday night over with our Insiders Club, and we do boycott and boycott announcements and help you in building the parallel economy, what businesses to support, which ones to boycott, all that good stuff. The networking was so neat, going back and forth. We were answering people's questions. At the end of it, I forget who it was, they just said, I just love this. I love coming to this every Monday night. I love this fellowship. This just makes my week. And gang, you make our week by being there. We want to make your week. Hannah and I, we work tirelessly to serve you in any way that we can, to make sure that you feel like you're really a part of a movement that's building a whole society rooted in faith, family, and freedom.
Absolutely. And we're nearing 5,000 of you, which is amazing for us. Yeah. We want to get as many of you into the community as possible. How many subscribers do we have now, Steve? 1.2? 1.2, 1.16 or something like that.
On YouTube?
On YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah,
Rumble.
like 1.2 million or so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so everybody who's a subscriber here, if you support what Steve says, just put the link in the description. We have tens of thousands of people who put their contact in so that we never lose contact. But if you really, truly want to get the full analysis, join us. We would love for every single person who's a subscriber to come over there so that we never, ever get separated. So
that's right.
With that, the Christmas thing is an insider requested segment. So I would love for you all to come over. Maybe just real quickly tell them again what that is exactly. Every single Christmas we've done this, Steve. So
yeah. So what I did is I wrote a little book some years back. This is part of my teaching in the academy, and I did a little thing on A Christmas Carol right around Christmas, where I would introduce students to all of these deep, amazing themes, these particularly Christian, timeless themes in the story. And it's all about awakening the moral imagination to see what was always there, but you didn't have the eyes to see it. You needed sort of this light to just kind of come into your life. And all of a sudden you see, whoa, I never saw that before. So what I do is I go through one of the most timeless Christmas stories ever, and I reveal to you all of these amazing Christian themes that ties the story together. And at the end, you see it and you see Christmas like never before.
Well, let's do it. I see an insider who's here in the virtual studio with us saying, can you please record that and share it with us? How about we just do it right now?
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right now. Hannah, this is where Hannah's going to help because I'm tech dumb, but she's going to help us. We're going to transfer exclusively over to our virtual studio. That's only for our Insiders Club members. So this is your last chance. Just click on the link below, join now, and then you can hear this amazing exposition on A Christmas Carol. And I'll answer questions. We'll just have a nice little finale of the year before we get ready for 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. So just click the link in the description, go through the form on the confirmation page. You'll see this stream in our virtual studio. You actually get to come into our virtual studio, which is so cool. You'll be getting other emails. They'll be talking about things that are pending and all that. Don't worry about that. That is the vault. You'll get access to the vault. That's manually done. You'll get an email and it will link you right here. So come on over. We will be starting here in just a second. But thank you, YouTube. We'd love to have you over here shortly. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Love you very much.
All right.